And welcome back to Rick Snyder's Washington live chat on the Washington Commanders. I've missed you guys so much for the last 6 weeks when I had some fun from my life, but we're back, and we're going to be back every Monday, 8 to 9 Eastern, unless they're playing on Monday night. That's one of them, and all. But other than that, pretty much, uh, we're here as like always, 8 to 9. You get to ask whatever question you want if you're new to all this. Um, you know, that's basically the rule. Be nice and ask what you want. Down in the comments, you'll see I do have a Substack now since we last saw each other. So, free Commanders newsletter. It's free. I'm not asking for anything. Just read it, or click a link or something like that. But if you would like donations for the show here, because I try not to spend all my time for free for you guys, because I was up at 5:30 this morning to go to practice. Left the house at 5:30, I should say. So if you want to hit me up for PayPal or Venmo, you can donate to Rick Snyder's Would Like to Eat for a Living Cause. I always appreciate that. And nobody's here yet because nobody expects it for 2 more minutes. But hey, we had to get out get the stuff out of the closet, so to speak. So anyway, out of the closet, I don't know. I've been up since 5 o'clock, so I'm halfway delirious, but that's how this goes. All right, so while somebody's moving in, I'm just finishing up tomorrow's video. Okay, so that takes care of that. So basically, those of you coming aboard, we always get new people come. I have a newsletter now on Substack that not every day, but a lot of days there'll be Commander stuff in there. So you can go to Rick Snyder's Washington at Substack or .substack.com. It's right there on the comments. And sign up for free. See what's up. I was at practice today, so I'll talk about that when people start logging in. And a couple minutes away from the show. So it's just, there are 10 people. Nope, here we go, finally. All right, so Gregory starts off, first guy up. Where's Steve at? Okay, does RFK get passed Friday? Well, there's 2 votes. There's one on Friday, and then I don't know why, but they have to vote again in a few weeks. So, kind of, but this is going to be a narrow vote. It's not going to be as easy as you think. The second vote so that everybody understands where they really stand and who gets what. That's when everything's divided up. So I'm pretty sure it's just going to get done, but nothing's ever sure in life. So we'll see. Don, looking ahead, will you be involved with the Preakness Laurel in 2026? Yeah, Preakness goes to Laurel next year, and then after that, they knocked Laurel down. Kind of sad, but and no, not particularly. Bill, King number 3, whatever the heck, what is that? Where do you see Jalen Lane fitting in? I think the dude makes the team. I've been watching Jalen Lane. If you ask me who I've really liked out of all of this, look at where's my notes. Okay, there, my notes. Jalen Lane is great speed, great hands, will do something. When the guys like that they get on the field somehow. You look that good in practice, you're going to get on the field. And of course, everybody's favorite today, including my own, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back. Man, he showed a move today. And today was first day of pads at Commanders camp. And this dude made an impression. And I don't think Brian Robinson's anybody's, overwhelming favorite anymore. It's his last year under contract. General Manager Adam Peters has proven last year he got rid of 3 first-rounders from the old guys. He has, so Brian Robinson doesn't have anything secure. I don't know. See what this guy can do in the preseason games, but I think that's another surprise there. It was 7th rounder, on that. In camp, it always seems like Quinn can't talk enough about Jeremy Reeves. He always talks about him so much. So he's having another good camp. I think Jaden's had a pretty decent camp. Hey, Steve, there you are. Steve, you're like 5th, man. Well, you're losing. What you do in the off season? You got to get your clicker finger and ready to go. I'm just kidding. Karash, hey Rick, history question. Why did the team practice at Frostburg at one point? Okay, I spent 5 summers in Frostburg. I'm an expert on this case. When they wanted to build what's now Northwest Stadium, the man in power in the Maryland House was Cass Taylor, who was from Western Maryland. That was his district. He said, if you'd like $70 million in infrastructure money to help build this stadium back then, I kind of need you to spend summers at this little college called Frostburg University, I think it is now, and bring a little economic development to my area. And that's why we spent 5 summers at Frostburg. We're supposed to do 10. Dan Snyder broke the deal halfway through. When he came on board, Snyder came for the last year, said, what the heck is this? And then brought him back to the Ashburn the next year. So it's all politics. I keep talking about the new stadium and who gets what. See, that's how this works. Greg, does Harris have a RFK fail plan? Not that he's discussed with me personally. So I'm not too worried about the stadium vote yet. Not yet. We'll see. I got a drink. Practice was hot today. We started at 8 a.m. today for practice because it's 100 degrees in D.C., 110 heat index kind of thing. And Quinn, doesn't beat up players. I don't know that I've ever seen a coach change practice time for weather, but not be lightning related. So he's just like, let's get the work done a little bit sooner. It's greater for the fans. And if you lived in Washington like I have all my life, you know that around 10 o'clock in the morning is the witching hour for the heat, where suddenly it goes from hot to steamy and the humidity rises right around 10. So they got off the field right before them. They're also running shorter practices. And I thought, are they not getting enough stuff in? Turns out, I was told, the up-tempo of this camp is so, quick, which it is, that they get through everything in like 90 minutes or so instead of the 2 hours. And Quinn, rewards them by being done. The players like Quinn because he won't beat them up. And moving it an hour earlier for the heat, things like that. They love the coach for doing that. Everybody starts a little earlier, but I think the fans were kind of happy too. A lot of fans there today. So it was season ticket holder day. Several thousand people were there filling it up. A few of them said hi to Rick Snyder's Washington. Said thank you for coming if I saw you. Andre, what role will McCaffrey play? I think McCaffrey's having a nice camp. Last year, I was expecting more from him than that happened. So, that receiver room is deep. It's deep. So, I'm not sure where he is going to be there, but I like the guy's attitude. He works hard. He's always listening. Just needs to catch a few more balls, I think. Greg, my surprise no Terry deal. Well, it kind of was leaked out today through back channels that Terry is looking more like $34 million. They're not paying that. And not paying that anytime soon. So Terry comes into camp after 3 days because you're fined $50,000 a day. Mini camp 3 days and then 3 days here. It's $300,000, which, okay, the man's making almost $20 million a year. So, but I think he spent the money basically to tell the team, listen, I'm not coming cheap, but he's not an idiot. And, my ankle hurts. I can't practice. So he can show up. He can't practice, but he show up and not get fined. And he was out there signing autographs again for the fans today. Met with his agent on the sideline. Kind of strange. You don't usually see that. So I'm a little surprised it hadn't happened, but now I would be surprised if it did. I think Terry might just say, I'm going to free agency. You can franchise me for a lot of money. But if you don't want to pay this, I don't know if you pay that next year. So I think we're seeing the ending days of Terry. There's all I talk about trade. I haven't heard anything about a trade on Terry. Just speculation. Bill, thank you so much for chipping in. Now, see everybody. That's how it works. There's that little dollar sign down below the screen if you can see it on YouTube, where you can click it and donate money or to Rick Snyder's cause, which is feeding me during the day, or as I just put in the chat box, you can get my free Substack newsletter. There's the URL. Or you can use PayPal or Venmo to send money directly to me. I always appreciate that. Have a new book coming out on Jayden Daniels September 9th. You can get it. You'll be able to get it everywhere. Bookstores. It's a real publisher, Triumph Publishing. Bookstores, Amazon, and me. I'll sign it for you. I'm not taking orders yet because yeah, why? We got 6 weeks or whatever till it comes out. So it's all done. They're doing the production end of it now, and they're working on the cover. So I can't show you a cover yet. But it's going to be called Jayden Daniels Smooth Operator. This company has done 3 other books, including Hertz. They did Mahomes. So when they said to me Smooth Operator, I'm going, what's that about? They go, that's his nickname. I've never heard that. Now, when you write a book, here's part of inside publishing. You don't get to name it. The publisher gets to name it. You can propose one, but it's up to them. And they go, no, that's his nickname. I said, dude, I've never heard anybody call him that. And they sent me a link to a video where he talks about his nickname was Smooth Operator more as a kid. Family and friends call him that. Nobody out here calls him that, but that's how the name happened. So it's the same company I did 100 Things Redskins fans should know and do before they die, and Commanders fans now on there. So if you want to go to here's one of the books I did this summer, Secrets of Caveman Cooking. Why don't you just go to Amazon? You can get it there if you like. But it's got a lot of good recipes on it. Several of you have bought it. I need several more of you to buy. But if it sounds like I'm a whore, I don't charge. I don't put this behind a paywall or anything like that. I just rely on the generosity of the public, which is often lacking, quite honestly. But you say, hey, Rick, I know you're up at 5:30 in the morning and heading out to the park, but I appreciate your long day and your closing eyes, as I say, to come talk to us about what happened today. So that's why I say it doesn't hurt to kick a couple bucks back. Okay, James, didn't know about that. Naming titles, yeah, it's publishers because they want the final word because you might have a stupid name and it might not sell books. And publishers are all about making money, as any business should be. So if they have a better name that makes more money than mine, go for it, man. So, Don, there you go. You're back. I'm going to Captain Billy's this weekend. Is there a Rick Snyder promo code I can use? All right, here's the secret. Don, you just go to them, you mention my name, and you either get a free glass of water or a dirty look. It's up to you. But either one, you can have maybe both on a good day. So Captain Billy's is a crab house in southern Maryland called Pope's Creek, around the border of Virginia. It is the best crab house in the Washington area. I've gone there for many, many years. I knew Captain Billy before he passed away. It's the best place to go. Good crabs. I was there. It's probably been a month, but I was there. It's probably been a month, but it's a good crab house. Joel, thanks for loving the book. I appreciate it. And Dizzy saw my immortal Hulk Hogan book. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, brothers, we all love it. I mean, I'm not a big wrestling guy, but I liked Hulk Hogan. He was a good entertainer, and it's such a shame he died. And seemed to have had a rash of people passing away lately on all of this. By the way, I went and saw Fantastic Four because I was really bored one afternoon. It's okay. It's okay. But the Happy Gilmore 2 movie I saw on Netflix, that was excellent. I mean, if you saw the first one, you'll really appreciate the second one more. I laughed out loud at least a dozen times. It's funny, so definitely worth watching on Netflix. It's funny because then I went back and saw the old Happy Gilmore, how much younger Adam Sandler looks. I mean, I don't know, what's it been, 20 years? But I was still surprised. But there's a lot of inside jokes from the old movie back too, so it's pretty funny. Let's see. All right, Gregory, did Papa Gibbs have early practices during 2-0? Not that I remember. I don't remember having 8 o'clock, but I think we probably did way back. I mean, this is my 50th year of being on a football field somewhere, so it all kind of runs together sometimes for me like that. So it's hard to believe I've been around football for 50 years. Not NFL necessarily. I started NFL in 93, but colleges and high schools and all that, and my own vain attempt to try something. Been on football fields 50 years. So I see more than I even realize I see at times because I recognize it. Life doesn't really change. People don't change. We're all the same, just next generations do the same dumb things. Dizzy, do you remember George Allen trying to sign Andre the Giant? Yeah, they couldn't get a helmet for him, first off. They were going to make Andre Giant block extra points. And the dude was humongous. He was 500 and some pounds. I think he was around 7 foot or so. I mean, Hulk Hogan actually picked him up and body slammed him. That was amazing. I saw that video this last week. And then Andre just made too much money wrestling versus football, believe it or not. I mean, because this is early 70s. Big money in football didn't happen until the early 90s when free agency came about. So Andre passed. But it would have been cool to have covered him. I mean, because he had Joe Theismann on his shoulder one time like a rag doll, and Joe Theismann's no small person. So that's one thing I think you're going to notice about the Commanders' defensive line. They just, of course, they picked up Von Miller just recently, so they have more of a pass rush there. But what they decided to do is we're going to clog the middle with these humongous human beings and try and not let opposing runners break them. These dudes are big. When Deron Payne, who is a huge human being, talks about how much bigger these other guys are, my God, are they from this planet? I mean, these dudes like Kinlaw, they're humongous. So it's going to be a little harder to run past this team in the middle, at least. Let's see. Steve, first Happy Gilmore was his funniest film? Oh, it definitely was funny. Probably. He did a bunch of romantic comedies with like Drew Barrymore, which were nice. I liked some of those. He's a fun guy. I like seeing him doing movies. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So Joel agrees with me too on Happy Gilmore. Every training camp, think of Corey Stringer, rest in peace, says James. And Corey Stringer died of the heat, not here, but that's one reason why they try to keep hydration so big, because somebody dying like that, terrible thing to happen. And it happens, I know, in high school fields a lot, things like that. And I was at one year at the park about 10 years ago. I almost blacked out. I mean, I was seriously swirling and had to get off. We had an artificial field then where it was even hotter, and I had to get off the field. I thought I was going to fall on the ground. It does get hot out there. So please don't wear black. It's like my big motto. Don't wear black on 100-degree days and drink water. I mean, I grew up without air conditioning, so I understand how to live in it. I know a lot of you younger people didn't do that. Well, you learn quick. I'll say that. Try and, eat something, hydration. Why do I have, so maybe you guys know, what are these new king symbols, the crowns with 1 or 2 or 3 or something on them? What does that mean? Top fans, it says. Ooh, okay. So now I can figure out who really loves me. Greg, you're number 2. Steve, you're 3. Steve is 3? Okay. Joel's a 3. I don't know okay. Weird. All right. Now I know who to hit up. All right. Steve almost had heat stroke a couple years ago. I'm telling you, it's serious. I had a cousin die last summer. I knew 2 people had died of heat stroke. And a cousin, it's the son of a cousin I had, who was, I don't know, like 30, was in decent shape, went out and cut grass, came back, sat on the couch and had a heart attack and died. It's a real deal, especially in DC. It's so humid. So it'll suck it out of you. I had 3 bottles of water over 2 hours out of practice. You got to take this stuff seriously. I'm telling you. I've been a tour guide too for a long time. I'm telling you. Don't think I'll be okay. Not always. James is right. Stay hydrated. There you go. Joel, I have a feeling this year will be a tough division. It's weird. I saw Vegas sent me. I get odds from these people all the time, like Bet Online. Washington was 3.5 over under on wins in the division. I'll say 4, but they always have hard times against people. Philly's going to be tough. Dallas, they always have trouble with at times. So I think they can beat the Giants both. Dizzy's here. Do you think Terry and his agent were outsmarted by Adam so far? I don't know. Adam hasn't really said much, so hasn't said anything really. So I think Terry's won that war, to be honest, at least right now. And coming in, he deflects a lot of attention, negative attention. He's signing autographs for fans. I think Terry has done better there. Joel's all right, top 3, whatever that is. Okay. Rakesh, do you think Tyler Owens can go and be in our starting safety? I tell you one thing. I saw Tyler Owens today nail somebody. I forget who it was. It was one of his bang bang plays, and he nailed the guy. So I was like, who's that? Okay, Tyler Owens. All right, I'll remember that. So we'll see. Jeremy, how does Javante Jean-Baptiste look? I didn't notice him today, but I've noticed him like in the off-season camps, and I thought, ooh, he's gotten better. He's a humongous human being too, as I've talked about. He is one of them, but he's gotten faster, and I think he will have some snaps in the regular rotation this year. I thought today the defense got the better of the offense, and that's been happening more. JD has not been perfect, but he's been good. And the great thing about Jaden is things can be bad, and he'll just nail a pass and just beat you on it. And he did that a lot too. His first pass of the training camp on the first day was a 30-yard bomb over to Debo where he dropped a dime over a defender. So, yeah, he's fine. I think Jaden, to me, I see a difference in three things. A kind of a marginal, but a little bit better, because he was great last year anyway. It's hard to be better than that. But I think his arm strength is a touch better. And this is a guy who threw a 52-yard touchdown, Hail Mary off balance together. So he's how he had a good arm. But I see a little more zip in that arm. I see a touch better placement on it. So that's good. And body-wise, he looks a little more muscular. Not anything great. I checked. Both rosters from last year and this year say he weighs 210. He'll weigh 210 on that roster if he plays 20 more years. That's weights are very whatever in the NFL. You don't see a lot of differences. But then I guess he wasn't fat anyway. So how did he turn it into muscle and not gain weight? I don't know. But he said, yeah, he'd like to be able to take the pounding a touch better. Hopefully you have two new offensive tackles that will keep you from being pounded so much. But everybody gets hit. Okay, Steve, I'm going to have to preach to the gridiron gospel here. We don't want too many dome stadiums in the NFL. Yeah, but what do you want, Marston? I think you have to do a dome. If you're going to spend $3 billion or whatever on a new stadium, it's got to do 200 events a year, and you can't do that without a dome here. Otherwise, your game tickets are going to be a couple $1,000 if that's all you have to play. Gregory, who's the number 2. Glad we didn't get Philly week 1. Yeah, I would say it too. You got Giants, and should be able to beat the Giants on there. Alexander, how does Debo look? Fantastic. I like Debo. I've got a bet already going, and I think Debo catches more balls than Terry does. That bet is subjective to both being ready to go on opening day, but Debo's looked awesome. First they started talking about he was slow. What are you people talking about? And no, he's fine. He's not heavy. He's fine. I like this pickup. Suzanne, enjoy watching snow games too. Sure, we all do. But the price of a new stadium, including, I have a video tomorrow if you want to watch it. It's 6 a.m. It's on YouTube. I was looking through Phil Mendelson, who's this DC City Council chairman, and he said, here's the new deal that we've cut with the team that you heard about last week. And he put the differences down, and suddenly there's an 18% parking tax on top of what it's going to cost you to park there. All right, let's just say, I'm just throwing this number out, but let's just say it's $100 to park at the new stadium, and that would not surprise me, okay? Because it's like 50 now, right? So I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years if it's 100. All right, and then that means an extra $18 for the tax. Now, the team would really like everybody to take the metro more, so would the city. But if the city figures I'm going to build these parking garages, then we're going to have to pay for them. So that sucks. And, they asked the mayor at a press conference the other day, Mayor, is it going to cost any more for fans to go to games? And I love how she played this. She goes, well, I don't think anything inside the stadium's changing. No, but the parking lot's outside. They're outside. And, yeah, suddenly that's $18 more out of your pocket. I got a release from one of those bookmakers that sends me stuff. They said, how many beers do people drink during games? And turns out, I ran that video this morning, Washington Commanders fans were the third least drinkers, if that's how I say it, in the NFL. They drink the third least amount of beer. And I thought, really? If any franchise drove you to drink, it's this one over the years. But, people drink a lot, I think. I mean, routinely I hear from people in the stands that 1/3 of the crowd at Commanders games is drunk. Which, if you think it's a full house of, say, let's just say 60,000, that's 20,000 people drunk. So how do they only drink a few? It turned out people also drink a lot more if they're home watching the games. So all the games, not just these. That's pretty funny. Let's see. All right, Rakesh, I don't hear anything about Dom Hampton. I got nothing for you there, man. Let me look. Don Hampton. I don't even have a Don Hampton on the schedule. So I don't know all 90 names on the schedule by heart, but I don't remember that one. Rich, so glad things have changed around here. In the years past, the excitement was so high from fans at training camp. Then the first game was played, and woo! So, well, hopefully they do better. You know, I didn't think they were quite ready last year. I didn't think Quinn had them ready, and they lost. So maybe they learned some things there. Greg, did we win the Adebo trade? Yes. Gave up a third, right? If I remember. Yeah. Steve, why don't you have a number next to you? What's going on here? So the W-shaped end zone is just on one side or both end zone? Don't know on that. Let's see. Alexander. Phil Mendelson's a character. Well, he's chairman, you know. He's looking out for DC. That's his job. Look out for taxpayers. My job is to look out for you and tell you, hey, you're getting screwed. You know, that's what real journalists do. Unlike the world that is changing. And I've been in this business 47 years. I write for Yardbarker now. So I wrote a story today about Ertz. So if you go to yardbarker.com, you can see my work there. I don't write a lot for them, but I do some. I have a new Substack page, ricksniderswashington.substack.com. It's free. You can, I'll be writing about the Commanders a bit there. So you can go get that. You can just throw in the dollar signs here. Let's see. So there's the Substack one. People change every so many minutes on this chat. That's why I'm repeating it. It kind of looks like a smaller crowd, but that's the first one. We're going to be here on Mondays, 8 to 9, hopefully. But it'd be nice if everybody throws a couple bucks because not everything in life is free. At least when I go to the store, it's not. So I do appreciate people helping out. But everything I have is free. I don't put things behind paywalls like the chats or the newsletters or anything. It's there for you. So I hope that people remember that and with their own generosity. Okay. Marquez, which running backs do you think will make the final 53? That's a real good question because I wasn't really sure about the seventh. I think they keep 4, and I'm not guaranteeing Robinson's one of them on there. So it may be the Rook, that gets in there I just talked about. Of course, I think they're going to have. I don't know if C-Rod's going to make it either. That's going to be an interesting one. They have some good depth, and that's the key here. With a 17-game schedule now, it's not so much about your starting lineup, which it is, but it's your depth. Last year they changed almost 20 players during the season. What's that, 40% of your roster? So I think their depth is better this year, too, in a lot of places. Gregory, in Harris's spare time, can you buy the Wizards? Yeah, they really suck. It's so discouraging to be a Wizards guy. I can't watch a lot of it anymore. It's just they're down. They give up 150 points a game, it seems, or really like 130, but still. Ugh. Dizzy, why don't they get smart and hire me back? Well, the Junkies aren't the ones. It's the station. I was let go at the end of last season by Odyssey Network. I didn't make hardly anything, but they're having bankruptcy problems and stuff, and they have to cut their money. And so they cut me thinking I'd save the company. So they're still there. So I guess I did save the company. You're welcome. I wish they would, but, we all move on. When I say I've been in journalism 47 years, that included 8 layoffs in the last 11 years. I mean, it was brutal. COVID, all that. That's why I'm down. I could retire today if I want, but I still like doing this. But I could retire today if I want. So I'm a little picky on what I do. I want it. So I pick more of my projects, and I'm still covering the Commanders at least one more year. We'll see. I don't know. I gave up figuring out my life. As long as my health is good, I keep working because that's what I like to do. Um, so that's why I'm still around. But if they didn't want to hire me back, that's fine. It was a good relationship, and I have to say that the station manager handled it very well and professionally, and there's no hard feelings. And there was some talk about, not the junks, but there are people who were like, we didn't think you'd come back on. I still do the junk show now and then, and other people's shows if they ask me. And they'll just say, we didn't think you'd do it, getting laid off. And I'm like, it was all handled above board. I had no hard feelings. And Junks and I have gone back to their days when they were a weekend show, Bowie TV, I think it was. So, we ride together. I don't worry about it. I don't go on a lot. They don't ask me very often. I don't call them up and say, please let me on. I mean, they call me when they want. And when they don't, that's fine too. All right, Steve, Josh needs to buy the Nationals. Okay, so we got him down for buying the Wizards and we got him buying the Nationals. I guess Ted can keep that. I mean, learners have been a cheap bunch here and really ruined this team. And it's really annoying as all. So I'm not a real big fan of Mark Lerner's approach. His father knew he had to spend some money. Mark doesn't seem to want to do it. Let's see, Mike. This year's first downs are called by the Sony Hawkeye system. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't seen it any in practice yet being done, so I'm sure we probably will have it out at practice at some point just to try it. Rakesh, how would you rank our receivers based on pure speed? Ooh, I'd say Lane might be the fastest one. Terry versus Debo, I don't know. That's hard to say, but they're both quick. Terry's speed, I think, is after catch, where he's zipping along. After catch speed, he's really good at it. But I don't care about stopwatches. Greg, I need a TV show. Well, that's kind of what this is, Greg. You're number 2. Keep it up. You'll be number 1 soon. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm old. There's an age discrimination in this country is very real. Just turned 65, got my Medicare card, started wearing that out already. They're going to regret making me take Medicare because I didn't want to. I wanted to keep my own insurance. And you can, but it's it really gets costly. All those tax breaks that they pay us for seniors, that basically pays for your Medicare. But whatever. Okay, Steve. Happy belated birthday. Thanks. Yeah, my birthday was recently. Won't tell you what day so you scammers can't use it against me. But recently. So I'm one of those July kids. Let's see. Which rookie has looked the best, Alexander? Okay, so like I said, for some of you who watch a lot of the show, analytics tells me most people watch 15 minutes and then go back to their lives. I don't blame you. So I repeat questions at times and that. Jalen Lane, I'd say the receiver would be my number 1 best looking newcomer. But there's several that have looked okay. People really like Amos. I haven't seen enough yet. I got to see some games before I decide some of that. Or Connerly. I need to see. They just had a padded practice today, and you didn't see a lot. So I need to see a few of these guys. Preseason starts, 10 days or so? End of next week. And then they go a week without a game. They play like on a Saturday or a Friday, I forget. Then they play on a Monday night. Oh, thanks for that. And then but in between, the whole week goes by. They play a Monday night, and then they play at the end of the week again. So they play twice in the same week. But the last game, of course, is all the guys you're getting ready to cut. So they still have a break time there. It's going to be a brutal schedule this season. There's not 1 p.m. game in October or November. My wife said to me today, hey, there's a game on our wedding anniversary. Yeah, I kind of kept that quiet for a long time. She finally looked at the schedule and says, hey, yeah, how about that? So I don't know. I'll have to fight about that later. That's a fight down the road. Christmas, they're at home at 1:00. I will not be there. Christmas and Easter, God days, not family days. I'm just going to record it and we'll talk about it later. I'm just not going to do it. Okay, let's see. Greg, I think the leader just owned Dulles Town Center. The mall. Don't know about that. It's not far away. Todd. There goes Todd. How's summer going? Well, Not bad. Hot as all. You're on vacation in the Outer Banks. What part? I used to go there a lot when I was younger, but haven't been in a few years. Last two times I've gone in September, I've had a hurricane evacuation, even though the hurricane never really came. So that sucked. But I like the Outer Banks. It's hot as all this time of year, though. Let's see. Everyone in the chat, you think Terry McLaurin gets the extension? I'm kind of souring on it happening now. Timothy, don't you think the team would rather have Terry play out the last year and then franchise or trade him? Well, I don't know. I think this year's a money year for Terry. I think they're going to be. If you want 30 million plus, go prove it. I think that's kind of where they stand on it at this point. Rakesh, do you think McGee spells Wagner on third down? Maybe. That's way to be decided yet. I mean, McGee's has got some possibilities. The Learners used to own ton. I don't know, Greg. The Learners owned a lot of malls, and so that's very possible. They owned Landover Mall. I remember that. It's now a parking lot. Mike, looks like the stadium deal made some positive movement. Yeah, and Donald called for the name change. I did a video last week saying I'm cool with them going back to Redskins if that's what we're going to do. They changed. Snyder traded that name to try and get out of trouble. It didn't work. The name got wasted. I don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people say you should educate yourself on the Indians. Listen, dude, I am the source on this. I covered the 91 protest in Minnesota before the Super Bowl, wondering what in the world is this about. I'm the one who's been to the American Indian Museum in D.C. and with forums. I'm the one that's written about this over and over. I'm the one who was in the Dakotas talking to Indians there, the Lakota Indians, about what they thought about this, which they thought football was stupid and could care less. So for everybody to tell me I'm an ignorant fool, I say pretty much nobody in Washington has a problem with it. No one looks at it as a racial slur. I've never, ever heard anybody say, you blankety blank Redskin. People say, oh, in the old Westerns. Dude, you can't play that game. That's 50 years ago. And I would be okay with them coming back. And that video drew 143,000 views. So thank you for that. That went viral. Does it happen? I kind of doubt it. But we'll see. They're going to be, I think some of the images like helmets and stuff, I could see something happening there, especially if the president wants to try and push it, but I don't think he will. I think hopefully he's got other things better to do than worry about the Redskin name. Gregory, take her to the game for the anniversary, but I got to work. See, that's not worth it. Plus she doesn't care. For years, whenever I was at home, I used to travel and cover all the games, but I don't anymore. So for away games, I'm sitting there on the couch charting the plays and doing it. And my wife would walk by, look at the score, shake her head, and keep going. But last year, she kept going, wait a minute, they're winning. And she sat down for a game and watched one. And I thought, wow, we've been married 45 years coming up. You've never watched a game with me like this, ever. And she caught on last year. So that just shows you how extensive things were on it. Do I remember when Dan bought the Redskin coach for the Tribes? Yeah, I mean, Dan bought a lot of stuff for the Tribes for so many years when it was politically convenient for him to do so. And hey, they took the gifts. It wasn't just coats, but it was all this stuff. But I don't see that happening anymore. Gregory, why did Snyder take the new stadium process farther? Because the politicians didn't want to work with them at all. That's why. So they didn't. They just did. And that's why he had to sell the team, because other owners said, hey, you're not making any money in the stadium. Visiting teams get 40%. And they were tired of getting nothing out of the deal, especially since they brought more than 40% of the crowd. So Dan couldn't get past the politicians. Rakesh, if we sign Terry to 30 mil per year, is there any chance you sign Debo to 20? Yeah, I would say that if Debo has a good year this year, I could see them signing him to 20 next year. Mike, they also introduced a new uniform. Looks retro. I agree with the stripes and all that. I got no problems with it. I don't usually worry a lot about what's on a uniform. I always say, what looks good? Winning. Other than that, don't really care. Let's see. The first vote this Friday and the second on September 17th. Steve's talking about the stadium issue. Yeah, you really got to wait till September 17th. And if they approve it then you can go, woo. But until then, anything's in play. Am I still doing pizza reviews, Alexander? Yeah, not as often. I'm trying to eat better. You get older. Here's the thing, man. When you get older, you can't eat crap or else you disappear. I had 2 of my high school friends die last week. It's real. So food is everything, more than exercise, more than meds, whatever. So I'm not eating as much junk as I used to. I dropped my cholesterol 20 more points. So it's 128 for all you haters out there. Didn't really lose the weight. It's kind of strange. I'm more muscular, the doctor told me, than I am fat. I still got a gut. But I will eat a pizza review now and then because I'll give you a real quick story. I had a massive heart attack covering this team when I was 42, working 80-hour weeks. I thought I was the best reporter in town. That comes with a price. And I ignored my health and got caught. I was at Redskin Park, and they saved my life. So kind of have an attachment there. For years, I thought I was in purgatory watching this team forever. but anyway, when they won, I wondered if my purgatory was over and I was going to disappear. But, anybody at 65 has health things. So I'm trying to eat better, trying to eat a little more plant-based, not completely. But things like, since the heart attack, red meat just isn't my thing. So, I'll have a burger once in a while, but it's not my thing. I'm more chicken, seafood, and trying just not to eat as much. So that's why I don't do as many, but I'll do them here and there. Freeze-dried food. I got one of the survivor kits instead of the zombie apocalypse coming. So you see me with my grandson. He's 10 now. He likes YouTube. And we tried the freeze-dried food here and then. We did vanilla pudding last week. It was actually decent. And then I haven't shown it yet, but we did macaroni and cheese, and that was better than I expected. So we're ready for the zombie apocalypse if that's what happens. Okay, Rakesh, have you seen any reps or international prospects we have on the team? I haven't noticed them. Good food. What's the garden status? Oh, Mike. Okay. So I put up a few pictures before. I've got the corn's coming in really well. For those of you, I have a big garden because I bought an old farm. And let's see, I'll pull up a picture for you. And so the corn's come in pretty well. All right, let's see. Sunflowers are good. The tomatoes and onions have come in well. So this is my garden. If you see the plow there, that is my great-grandfather's plow in North Carolina. He was a farmer. Most of my family's been farmers. My dad finally said, ain't no money in this. So that's part of it. That's just there. Okay, so there's the first bounty. We had corn, and that corn was awesome. And the red tomatoes finally so I've got tomatoes coming in. Ironically, I'm not a big tomato eater, but so yeah, the gardens, we've had a lot of rain here this year. That really helped a lot. So I'm starting to really collect corn now. Just kind of hand it out. We all eat it. Just something to do. It's my science experiment and my exercise. If you have a garden, you don't need to go to the gym. Todd, how's the Merritt kid looked at running back? Good. He had a great move today. He runs with a lot of ferociousness. That's the word I can use. Has the speed, decent body. They were thinking he was going to be a teamer, but this guy may end up getting a lot more snaps running back. I don't know that Brian Robinson has a long future here. All right. Oh, okay, Rakesh, I can't even pronounce that. 4-syllable words kill me, but I have not noticed them. Let's see. Steve, a zombie apocalypse won't ever happen. Well, I don't know, man. I keep seeing them on TV. It scares me. Yeah, I admit it's kind of a strange thing. If we've killed you, but you're still alive. I don't know. But I bought a bucket of freeze-dried food at Costco just to do it and have some fun and teach the kids. Part of my life now, I have 4 grandkids. I'm really trying to teach them a lot before whatever day I have to leave. And I didn't have grandparents, so it's all new to me, but we're trying to teach them. My one grandson's been cutting my back acre. I have more than that, and he made some money. He bought a VR headset. Have any of you tried these VR headsets out there? Oh my God. I put that thing on. He put on something called Monkey Tag where the monkeys came at me. I about fell down. It was so real. I started yelling. Somebody's going like, what's the matter? I had to take it off. I was like, whoa. So just wait till the porn industry figures this thing out, man. Wow. It was so real. Greg, first game is the Thursday night Hall of Fame game, Lions and Chargers. Yep, that's in 3 days. I might watch a quarter of it because there'll be people we don't really know on all of that. So this is the part where I browbeat everybody because we're 15, 20 minutes away from it. And if you can go get the Commander's newsletter, it's free. Just go to Substack and subscribe. And, you get Commander's news a lot out there. So that's why you should. Well, one of you did already. Tim, thank you. Appreciate it if you're watching. And on that. And let me come back over. So if you see the $sign down below here, it's like a contribute to say, hey, Rick, thanks for, doing this. I know you've been up. I left for camp about 15 hours ago in a crack of dawn. And I do this show so you guys can get an inside piece of it. Other people do shows that kind of talk about different things. We talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Sometimes we stray off the reservation, but that's cool. I don't care about it. But money, if I can't make anything at all off this, I probably won't do it. So if you'd like to ensure the product keeps going, I'm like PBS. If you'd like quality programming, throw some money this way. You can do it on Venmo or PayPal or the $sign right below. And if everybody's just going to be a cheapo, then Rick will spend Monday nights doing something else like that. All right. See, Suzanne, thank you. Was that so hard? I appreciate it. Suzanne was nice to me there. We'll move you up in the Suzanne was nice to me there. We'll move you up in the rankings here. Oh, Sue Spur, you won. You're number one, it turns out. Okay, watches my video. I knew she did. By the way, if you may have been gone a while, I do have the 52 Questions for God series that is every Sunday morning, 6 a.m. here on YouTube and other social media, where a pastor and I talk about questions that you'd like to ask in church, and nobody ever talks about these things. So that's why. Sort of like, why do I have to turn the other cheek? I just want to smack that guy. Yeah. We have one coming up in a couple of weeks. Totally threw me off. Does God care who wins games? I figure, no. God doesn't care. Well, turns out, yes, he does. And there's a reason. So that show's coming up. I would have gotten that one wrong. So I learned a lot doing the show with them. I basically ask the questions and the pastor answers them. And we do it in like 3-4 minutes most times, so you don't waste your day away. We're actually thinking about doing a live chat. If any of you be interested in a live chat on 50, where you get to ask questions of the minister. I can't answer them, but he can. And listen, I went to high school with this guy. We've known each other 50 years, so that's why we can go off on each other. Gregory, you still think Maryland and Virginia stadium bids is – okay. Let me redo this. Do I think that Maryland and Virginia have stadium bids kind of working on it since things have changed a little bit in DC's? Nah. I mean, look, Virginia was a massive failure when it came to the Wiz and Caps Arena, on a much smaller venue than this. And so they're dead to me on that. Maryland, well – Maryland's got its own fiscal problems, and being a Marylander, I don't really support all this money. DC's the right place for this to go, and RFK and all that. It's the right thing to do. And it could be generationally changing DC. DC has decided, hey, they're laying off a lot of federal workers, downsizing government. I'm not sure how many, we haven't heard, but it's pretty substantial. Moving agencies out. So what is DC going to do for money, on these things? And they want to go to a sports economy, among other things, and a tourist economy. I am a tour guide. If you come to D.C. this year and you want to see the sites, let me know. You can go to ricksniderswashington.com. My tour guide site's there. Everything I do now is Rick Snyder's Washington something, because I'm a 6th-generation Washingtonian, and it is my city. So I just let y'all live in it. And friend-free, I guess, in your heads. All right. Let's see. Steve, oh, he's talking about a local gym near me. Yeah, we'll see what the price is on that. I might. Suzanne, 52 questions is very interesting and informative. Thank you. And Suzanne's a number one. Thank you, Suzanne. That's great. Yeah, 52 questions, only a few minutes to talk about stuff, are we married in heaven? Will I see my pet there again? I mean, they're not stupid questions. So they're questions you'd like to know, but, Reverend never talks about it. So we do. Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity. Will Terry step on the field before he gets a new deal? Yes, because I'm not sure he's going to get a new deal, and he's still got to play the season. You can't. The injury thing, you can only go for so far with that because they have doctors who will certify you're okay. So now you're violating things. Then you bring in your own doctors to say, no, I'm not, and it ends up in a courtroom. But I don't think this will, but we'll see what happens. Steve's a third generation DMV. I hate the thing DMV. It's DC in the area or whatever. But DMV is where you go get your car stuff done. At least there is one in DC called that. We call it the MVA in Maryland. But DC, they call it that. Gregory, why'd you drop a 3? I'm not sure, Gregory. $20 will probably get you to 1. How about that? That'd be great. We'll get a bidding war. I'm all for that. Put $20 in, we'll see what happens. You might have to do more. I don't know. I don't have anything to do with these. This is the first time I've ever seen these rankings. Mike is now a 1 too, because Mike kicked in $5. I don't know. I don't run this at all. It's something to do with how much interaction, I guess, on all the videos overall. Okay, let's see. Steve, oh, you're second. My grandfather was born in Buffalo. All right, so you're second generation. You're a newbie. That's why I say Washington, if you wonder, because old Washington families around say Washington, but there's so few natives here anymore. DC, 1 out of 6 people is born in the city. That's 16%. 1 out of 6 were born in another country. All right, so locals versus foreigners is the same, and everybody else is somewhere between New York and North Carolina. Came here for jobs, kind of thing. I did a tour the other day downtown. It was like 25 people. They were locals living here. And I said, who's a native? Not a one. Yeah, that's just how it is. But that's why I say Washington. That's the old generational accent. And people tell me all the time, oh, so I'm from Washington. I moved away. It's so great to hear our accent. I don't have an accent. I live here. Let's see. Todd, did I hear about Santana Moss inducted in the Ring of Fame? Yep. Every time Santana walked past on the sidelines today, and there was a big crowd there because it was season ticket holder day, so we had several thousand. Every time Santana walked by, people were yelling, to him. And I think it's great. Santana deserves it. He was a great player, a great person. I wish him the best. Mojo, after the stadium gets voted on and approved, can Trump still cancel the deal anyway? Yes, because it is not, the land wasn't given to DC. The land was extended the lease to DC. And they now have a 99-year lease, but there are several provisions of which they can avoid something. Now, it's not simple. I don't think anybody wants to do it. But yes, there's that always hangs out there to a point. Okay, Steve, Dad grew up in Anacostia. I was born in Anacostia. Went to school with Roy Clark. My parents knew Roy Clark too. Roy Clark, for those of you who don't know, was a country singer and guitar player, and started out in DC in the clubs from here. He was on Hee Haw, if you remember that old TV show. Ooh, the worst show in the world. My dad never watched TV except a little bit on Sundays, and he watched Hee Haw because it reminded him of growing up in Carolina. Oh, hee haw, 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 hee haw. I mean, it came on after Lawrence Welk. Oh my God. All right. The Junkies came on after Lawrence Welk. Oh my God. All right. The Junkies, EB doesn't say. The Junkies brought you this week. EB said, doesn't Rick Snyder say Washington? Yes. I'm proud of it. I'm from here. Washington. That means I'm giving up my local heritage. I'm not doing that. So I don't spell it with an R, but I do say it with an R. And if people don't like it, I don't care. Rakesh, do you think if Payne is doing well, any chance we trade him? No. No, I don't see that. Gregory, watch that Moss Dallas game where he scored twice and they won 14-7, was it? Yeah, it was a dagger, especially one at the end. Just dagger, like Steve Buckhantz used to say. What we got? 10 minutes to go. Okay. All right. So, guys who ask a lot of questions, especially, it'd be good if you kicked in a few bucks to make sure I can answer all your questions on there. So, you see the $ below, or if you want to, I'll put it in the chat one more time. There's how to do it, PayPal or Venmo. And really, why aren't you going to do the free Commanders newsletter? When this is over, you go to Substack, subscribe to my newsletter. Cost you $0, and you'll get some of the news of Brown or just features or whatever I got going on. It's going to be a wide column. I'll talk about other things if I want because it's free and you ain't paying for it, so I can do what I want. I don't take advertisers either, because advertisers somehow think they own you if they spend money on you, and we're not doing that. If nothing else, if you're just a cheap bastard who won't pay anything, hit the thumbs up button. And that'll at least help the algorithm say, well, Rick's not a total fool. So, like I said, if you consume the product, kick back a little bit somehow, thumbs up, whatever. And if not, go watch somebody else, quite frankly. That's what happens when you get old. You just say what you think. So, and if people don't like it, I wrote a column about, Trump was right about the Redskin name. They should be allowed to come back if they want. And all the people were like, they heard Trump's name, so immediately everybody picked sides. I don't like to argue politics on the air because nobody will change their mind anyway. But people are like, I can't believe you brought him up. I'm, unsubscribing. Bye. If you're not paying for anything, what do I care if you unsubscribe? Not going to miss you. Good luck. That's just a ridiculous argument when people say that. Gregory, DC mayor said construction probably won't start till 2026. That's probably, oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're trying to finish off RFK first, and then you got permits, and then you got all these things. I just want to put a gazebo in my backyard, and I've got to go through 2 county permits and an HOA approval just to put a gazebo, lay it down in the yard. So you think a stadium isn't going to require stuff? I mean, they've already cleared a lot of permits and approvals. They've gutted the inside of the stadium. They basically are getting ready to dismantle the outside. So we're getting there. It takes time. Frankly, I'd be surprised if they are starting anything more than just ground dirt in 26, maybe next sex. All right, Mike, what's the biggest position currently Washington could upgrade? Good question. I don't see anything on the offense, I would say offhand. Maybe a linebacker. I'm not sure how good their backup linebackers are. So there's, I think that this team's basically got enough, but it would be nice to have better depth everywhere. But they've done a lot of that too. Running backs deep, wide receivers deep. The other line, they probably could use a little something there. Tight ends are deep. Running backs are deep. I said that already. I think the secondary's got enough. The defensive line interior has enough. Exterior, they could use another pass rusher. And linebackers are good. They probably could use a little more depth there. Steve, the timeline is right on the dot. Once the old is gone, the new stadium starts building. True. As soon as they can clear out RFK, and that's going to take a few months because they can't blow it up because of asbestos worries. So they have to dismantle it. They have to take that top roof. You remember that curve, dude? They have to cut it up and then lower it to the ground where it's further dismantled. It takes time. It's not being imploded because they were afraid that, you'll have a toxic cloud over DC and we'll all die in 5 years. And they may be right. They spent a lot of time working on the interior, but still, that's what the environmental people, the government say. So RFK was built in 61. So, the rules for things were a lot different. than they are now. Heading down last 5 minutes of the show because Rick's eyes are going to be closed in about 10 minutes on there. So, like I said, you got your orders. Go get the newsletter. Why wouldn't you want the newsletter? It's free. It comes in the email. You can always unsubscribe later. I don't know. But try. It's free. I'm not going to bug you for money or anything else. I mean, well, the Jaden Daniels book of mine comes out September 9th. I'll bug you to buy that, but you want to buy that. You need to buy that. So we'll talk about that more when we get closer to September 9th. I'm not going to do pre-orders. I don't want to take your money now. We'll just do it. We'll do it in a month from now. Thanks, Mills. Appreciate it. Steve, binge watching the show afterwards. Which show? I know you probably said and I forgot on that. So this week, basically, they just started pads today, and they'll ramp up things a little more and more. You know, Quinn's got a system he's doing, seems to be working. They basically come to camp now, most of them knowing the playbook. They've been in it enough with OTAs and mini camp and all. Mike, do they have architects and construction people working on final design for the stadium? Yeah, I understand there are two companies that are putting together their proposal, and the team will pick one of them, hopefully. So, you know, can you imagine putting all this effort into something and then you didn't get the bid? But that's the nature of that business. But right now, when are they doing that? I have not heard yet. I do know they're going to have a Hall of Fame kind of section in the new stadium with a lot of memorabilia and things you can see. And, of course, I'm sure it'll be next to the gift store. So, you know, I was looking today at the merchandise trailer they have at the park. A lot of white W hats, you know, a lot of ball caps. Gregory, thank you so much for signing up. Do appreciate it. You should call it Rick Snyder's Washington. It's my Washington. Yep. It's mine. What the heck? I just let y'all live here. You know, I don't even ask for that. I don't even ask for rent. So, like I said, it's funny. I can go through DC where my family used to live. A lot of them are government buildings now. You know, downtown especially. Where'd you see the Federal Triangle, the Smithsonian's, the Light, and the National Mall? People used to live there until the 1930s. They lived on the National Mall. But then FDR kind of changed the city's footprint. And the city's trying to do some new things again. Hey, every so many years, you're going to have to change. The National Mall is going to be changing, especially between 17th Street, World War II, and up to the Lincoln Memorial. They're going to do massive changes there. Next year, remember, is the 250th anniversary of our country. You can come to Washington, probably see great fireworks next year. I saw the 200th. Yeah, I don't know, 50 years ago. And the fireworks were awesome then. And think how much better they got to be now. So this is the 250th, baby. You know, I was around when they did the military parade last month. Man, they had more chain link fence up there than the DMZ zone. But they had it. Didn't ruin the streets as they feared. Steve, do I remember going to field trips to monuments and museums? No, we didn't get to go to any of that stuff. Right? I grew up in PG County, which is right next to DC. We didn't go to any of that stuff. You know. Let's see. William, I used to love as a kid getting ice cream at the old post office. Well, I remember when the old post office was like a big food court and all that stuff, and it really got nasty at the end. And then Trump bought it, made it a hotel. It's a beautiful place. And then now the Waldorf Astoria owns it. You can still go up the bell tower, though, which is really a great view. Rakesh, how do you think O-line will hold up against Giants week 1? No idea, man. It's too early for that question. Mike, okay, I'm glad you like the show and you're number one here. So, Steve, what can I tell you? You know, Mike's number one. I mean, Todd, why aren't you number one? I mean, you guys been slacking on me, I guess. Gregory, hope Sonny gets to see a new stadium. Well, Sonny's, what is Sonny now, like 91? So I hope I get to see the new stadium. You know, Williamsburg is Chevrolet. I know that one. Steve grew up in Clinton. Well, you guys, I grew up in Accokeek, which is no farther, I guess, but we never got to go anywhere on that. Accokeek was like 8 miles from the city line and was 1 million miles away in the cornfields. Today, it's all houses like all suburbia on there. And we have hit the golden hour of 9 p.m. So for everyone who contributed, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody coming on the show. A little light on crowd tonight, but that's not surprising. It'll get bigger as we get going again. Next Monday, I'll be back 8 to 9, God willing, on that. And what else can I do? There's videos every morning. If you don't familiar with the show, 6 a.m. They're already programmed. I'm not up at 6 a.m. like that doing that. If you think I'm sitting here like this at 6 a.m., no. But but yeah. And then I have one in the evening and sometimes 3. We'll see. We do different stuff. Just hang in there, subscribe, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment, as the algorithm wants you to say. Go to the Substack if you like. Watch me on Twitter, X, all this stuff. So anyway, we're done. Yeah, I know. Bill found me. Anyway, I'm Rick Snyder. Thank you all so much for coming, and I appreciate it. I'll see you next Monday on the chat. Bye.